Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to manage your family and your business? Struggling to find that balance between work and home life? In this video, I'm going to share with you practical time management hacks, specifically for entrepreneurs who want to excel in business without sacrificing their family life. Hey, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, my name is Bennett, and I'm here to share some ideas that have moved the needle just a little bit for me in my own personal life. So I hope you find them beneficial. We all have different priorities, and the balance between our businesses and our family life is one that gets extremely complicated. So here are 6 different things that you can think about when it comes to balancing the two. The first thing that's been really beneficial for me personally is really having a time when I sign on to work and a time when I sign off to work. And one of the things we get caught up as entrepreneurs is that we can always be working and there's always more work to get done. But I think a fear that a lot of people have when they have a family is that they don't want to look back and see that they wasted so much time in their business when they could have also been working on the relationships in their family. Whether it's with their spouse or their children, they want to make sure that they're taking advantage of everything that they possibly can. And it's so easy to get caught into this trap when it comes to our own businesses because we see the productivity and we can see the success more immediate than we can with the relationships that we're trying to cultivate. So really trusting in yourself and recognizing that you're going to need to have a time to invest in your business and a time to invest in your family is going to be the first thing that we're going to need to do just to set ourselves up to be able to have the success in both areas. I know for me personally, whenever 5 o'clock comes around, I look to just shut off from everything. I look to close my computer and I look to put my phone away because I know I'm going to get distracted. There are some nights that I'll work after the kids go to sleep, but I want to make sure that I have that time with them when they come home so I could continuously work on those relationships with them. The hardest is when a client asks if they could meet at like 5:45 or like 5:15, and I have to say no. I have to remind myself that that is the time that I have to be working with my family. The second idea that I want to talk about is really looking to get support from your spouse. You see, so many times you might have those nights that you're going to need to be working longer, or you might have to go past 5 o'clock. And hopefully we're not taking advantage of that, but being an entrepreneur, stuff like that does happen. If there is something that can't be moved and it has to be urgent, recognize that really getting support from your spouse can be something that can be so beneficial. One of the easiest ways to ruin our relationships with the people that we love and the families that we want to be working with is by not communicating with them. And it's harder when your kids are younger because they might not understand the different priorities that you have. But if you can get your spouse on board, hey honey, I need some extra time tonight. Do you mind stepping in a little bit more? That could be something that could really just set the expectation properly. I will warn you that you don't want to take advantage of this. And so many times I find with different entrepreneurs, they end up extending themselves too much. And then they have to have the talk, which we all know and love, about how we really need to just prioritize certain things in our own lives. So make sure you set that boundary. And at certain times, if you need that extra support, make sure you communicate with your spouse or your partner, just so you can have a clear head. Talking about support, if you're somebody who's looking to balance your personal and your professional life, make sure to hit the subscribe button. The third idea I want to share with you is really something that I don't like to say, but I find it so common when it comes to people who are entrepreneurs, especially when they're starting out and they don't have the success that they want, and they don't necessarily have the full schedule that they really want to be having. I find so many times that entrepreneurs, and myself included, we just waste our time. Jim Rohn talks about how there are certain activities that are the minor activities and certain things that are going to be the major activities. And the more major activities that we can do, we're going to be pushing the needle a little bit more. Understanding that is going to be tremendous when it comes to the work that we have. How much time have we wasted not really doing the things we know we should be doing? And all that happens is we have to make that work up later on in the day, and sometimes it interferes with our family time. We all know that time around 1 or 2 o'clock where we're trying to figure out like what is it we should be doing, but then around 4 or 4:30 we realize that there's so much that has to get done. Look to be productive, look to stay focused, to be able to make sure that you can continuously take that action. And that takes me to my next point. When we're with our family, make sure to be with your family. And it's the idea of when we work, and when we play. And so many times we're with our families, but we're really just thinking about what's going on in work. And even worse, we'll bring the negative energy that we might have with work into our family lives. It is so important for us to make sure that we're actually going to be present with our families. We don't realize that the day in and the day out that we're having with them is really having that impact. Think about your own childhood and how your mom or your dad used to come home every day. And it's very possible you never actually used to see them when you were a kid because they used to come home too late. And realize that if you have this opportunity to be with them, make sure to take advantage of it and to be so present with them. One of the things I love trying to do is to make sure I get at least 5 minutes of making real eye contact with each one of my family members. By having that eye contact, you're actually allowing them to feel like they're being heard, and the time you spend with them is really so important. I also used to remember a time where I used to let my wife bathe the kids, and then I realized that could be a great opportunity to hang out with them and to build that relationship. Understand that sometimes there might be silly things that you might need to be doing, but if you can do those things, it can really start to sprout what it is that you're looking to build. The fifth idea we need to talk about is to realize that we're going to need to say no to certain things. things. If you're in a new relationship, we need to understand that the priority now is within the family. I know for me and my friends, it was always so difficult to not be able to do certain things, whether it was to go hang out or to play ball as frequently as we used to be able to. And of course, there's two sides of this coin. You could look at it as like it's unfortunate that you don't have that time anymore, or you could look at it as you have this opportunity now. You can build something even more special. And it's really your perspective that you want to be able to choose. But understanding that if both your business and your family are a priority, we're going to need to say no to other things. It doesn't mean we need to say no to everything, and it doesn't mean we can't ever hang out with our friends, but to understand that the balance is going to have to shift. When you look back in 30, 40 years, are you going to be happier that you went to another movie with your friends, or are you able to take your kids to the park for 2-3 hours? And there's no right or wrong answer with that. It's just a question that you need to answer. And the sixth and final idea is to really remember why you're doing all of this. Being an entrepreneur and a partner can be extremely difficult. And what we need to recognize is that if we can remember why we're doing the things that we're doing, it's going to be able to give us that energy to keep moving forward. In both of these areas, we're playing the infinite game that Simon Sinek talks about. So to recognize that there's not going to be an end goal, and the point of the game is to continuously play, we're going to constantly be able to improve what it is that we're looking to do. Both of these areas take so much work, and we need to stay focused and try to be as productive as possible. That being said, if you're somebody who procrastinates and you're not being productive as possible, make sure to take a look at this next video where I talk about the myths of productivity and what it is you can do to really make sure to get stuff done.